Share, present now. Window, Chrome tab. All right, present. Hopefully I updated the slides. Okay, so we're going to talk about publishing and promoting. Same slides highlighted below is where we're at in the outline. Our last class. So starting with publishing, I showed this before in the first class, the intro to, but so you need to have a host, and then that host sends the content to a platform. Okay, so these are the options for hosts, and these are the options for platforms, and I'll explain it in the next slide. So podcast hosts, and actually what's weird is what's not shown here is the one we use, which is Blueberry. But there's so many different kinds of packages and options and costs. So, like, you know, the first class, Anchor is free, unlimited episodes, podcasts. You're not allowed to have team members, analytics, websites, no domain. All plans are free. So that's a good option for anybody that wants to get started and just have a podcast. Castos, we were actually using Castos, but I had so many issues with them. I don't know. I feel like they just have a downtime issue. So that's, you know, another thing is how good are they at being up and being reliable. I really like them because they provided a lot more analytics for us. And we actually had the free version. I don't know why it's not showing a free version or free plan. I guess because we used their free plugin, but we didn't use the host. I guess you could call it the host platform. We just use their host plugin platform. So that, again, it depends on how many hours you plan to put out stuff and how many of you guys are, how involved your team is. Yeah, it depends. So if you have questions on that, all I did was Google this like 10 times to figure out which plan we wanted to go with. So I recommend doing your homework. If you're going to spend money, do your homework. Know what you want and how you're going to use it. One more, sorry, I'm going to have to re-explain this part though, is that we have a host plugin through our website. So this website right here, this column website, means you have your own host website, but we have our Native Stories website, right? And all of our podcasts are on there. So the reason why we don't use a host is because it doesn't store our files. So you're paying mostly for your bandwidth or the amount of space that you're going to take up on their server, really. So because we don't need space, we just use the plugin, which is free. But usually people don't have a space to put their stuff. So we use Amazon Web Services because it's free. Not free, well, it's discounted for nonprofits, but it also is, we use the same location for our mobile app to pull the data. So it makes it less steps for our process, and it makes it less costly for our process. And the uptime is really good for it, and all those performance things that we need to think about. Okay, so once you have a host, you can send your RSS feed so once you have a host, it gives you an RSS feed, and you can send it to all of these different platforms. So we're on all these platforms because you go to the website for Apple Podcasts and I say take my RSS feed and it it verifies stuff, and then it basically whenever I post a post an episode, it goes directly to all of our platforms that we have subscribed to. So sorry, one more thing is that some of these, like Anchor, can send all your episodes. I would say most of these actually send your episodes automatically. You don't have to do it manually like we did. Again, we had to do it manually because we're not paying them a host fee. So how do you add it? So I just Google how to add podcasts to, and for instance, this example is Google Play. And I just take it from here. I'll just show you.
I'll show you how to submit your podcast to the /podcast portal. And then on this page, you can get some more information about this, but you need to click on the Get Started.
Sorry, this thing is in my way. It's really irritating. How do I make this thing go away? Open. No, I don't want to do that. Go away. All right, try this.
Google supports podcasts in Google Play Music. So I'll show you how to submit the podcast portal. And then on this page, you can get some more information about this, but you need to click on the Get Started page. You'll need to log in with your Google account. And then it takes you to a page that might look something like this. Click on Add Podcast. Look over their terms of service. Make sure that you agree to all of these things, and then check mark I accept the terms and click I accept. Then paste in the URL of your RSS feed. And I do recommend that this be a podcast-only RSS feed, or else Google will actually warn you. It's okay if it's not, but it's really best if it's a podcast-only RSS feed. Then click Submit RSS feed. When it has been received, they'll do something to verify your ownership. You might need to enter a code, check your email address, or if you've already entered a podcast that uses the same email address as this feed, it might not ask you to re-verify the same podcast email address again. But once you've gone through that process of verifying that you do own this feed and that email address that's inside the RSS feed, then come back here as long as everything is okay and there are no errors, click on Publish Podcast. And now we wait for Google to approve your podcast and launch the new Google Play Music Store with all of the podcasts inside of it.
So that's pretty standard for each of them. Your host will give you the RSS feed. And I can show you where ours is. Let's wait for that actually before I start. Okay, so steps to uploading to podcast hosts. I think this is where you take over. Where is my, there it is. Okay, I stopped presenting. All right, Nanya, you ready?
Did it go? Come. Oh. I think you have to mute. Sure. Sure. Can you guys see? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't see what. Okay, so this is how we upload our story. This is where our website is. It's on, wait, did I do this one first? No, okay. So first we go to So, okay. We have a tracking sheet. Wait, upload, add title. Oh yeah, I do the tracker. I mean, this first, yeah. I guess you want me to show them? No, yeah.
Yeah, you can show them the tracker.
Okay. So we have a tracker of all of our stories, and we have a shared Google Drive with everybody that's in Native Stories. But so this is all of our content that we mark. And so we have different categories and stuff. So yeah, like in the app ID, the name. After when you upload it, we put the MP3 URL, the size, duration, the image URLs that we upload, who's a storyteller, the date recorded, description. That normally goes into when you upload the episode. If it's like our location based, and all this good stuff. This is for our application, since it's a place-based application, and certain the stories get placed with a pin. And then the different languages, because we have different languages in Japanese, English, Olelo Hawaii, and we're working on a few other languages right now. So that's what that looks like. And then when we upload our actual, when you edit, it's going to be a WAV file, but when you upload, you have to convert it into MP3 file. And so this is what the uploader looks like, our Amazon AWS management console. I just learned this like a couple weeks ago, so it's still kind of fresh for me. But so we go to, was it EC2? Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, S3. Wait, is it S3? Open S3.
Yep.
So you go into storage for us, S3.
And FYI, we had help on this. We have software engineers that know how to do this stuff. So I didn't know how to do this. They just set it up and said, click on this button, and that's how I know how to get here.
Yeah, I don't really, like, Hannah gave me an email of all the stuff, so I still use it. But so here's our native story stuff, Steve. So go over here. Yeah, and then I open native stories bucket. I upload the images to here. And so you put the image in, it'll upload, it'll give you like a URL. And then that's the URL that you plug into the sheet, the spreadsheet. And then after, you also upload media. So media is going to be the actual audio file. So these are all of our stories. And after you upload it, you upload.
Hold on. Can you click on one of the check boxes just to show they can see the URL? Oh.
These ones?
No, go back. I don't know if it's the same, but Amazon. Yeah. Just put a check in the box. Yeah. And then that object URL, that's the one I use. I don't know if it's the same as the one, but that's the URL.
So you can either check it and the information will come up, or you can just click on it and it has the same information, but it'll give you the object URL. And this is the URL that you have to plug into your spreadsheet and to your hub website domain that hosts to the different podcast outlets. So after you upload your image and you upload your MP3 audio file and you get the URLs, you go to your hub, whatever it is. For us, we're on WordPress. You press new, you go post. My computer's so sorry. And it's literally like, if you ever had WordPress, it's just like a blog post. So it's super interesting. You put in your title here. So like,
why don't you open when that's already done?
You put the title, you put the caption. This is where you put your MP3 file. It'll verify if it's a good file, I guess. And
yeah,
so,
sorry, one thing that holds it up sometimes are like spaces in your file name and stuff like that, which, yeah, I don't know what the rules are, but sometimes you have to change just the spaces or the characters it doesn't like. Hey, you put the description in star writing or type to choose a block, right? You don't put it down there, right?
I put it in
Up here.
both.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be the categories. If you use WordPress, they have like, I don't know, categories that if other people look under the categories, this post will, or this blog post will pop up. So you can make your own categories, and every time like a podcast is associated with, you can like check it off. And these are the tags that you can also put in order to help when people search. You put the image in here for the podcast one, and then for the block as well. Oh, I don't even use the block. So after that, you press publish, and you can publish immediately, but we normally edit our files ahead of time. And so when Sunday hits, it's already set to Sunday at like 7 a.m. And then it just publishes. And sometimes you'll notice that it doesn't publish all the way. So like, because we're on multiple podcast outlets, so sometimes some podcast outlets will take longer than others. So don't trip out if it didn't post to there. Is that all I'm supposed to do? Yeah.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions? You have to do it a few times to get used to it, because yeah, I've done it only a few times and I'm still trying to get used to it, but it's actually pretty not that hard.
Yeah,
And if you guys,
all the hosts have basically the same thing, right? You have to add all those things. It's just ours is a little bit more complicated because of the spreadsheet and because of the app. So it should be, if you're just doing podcasts, then it should be a lot faster for your process.
yeah.
I have a question. So why do you guys have an app? And like, do you feel like that's easier? Is it easier to reach other listeners? Was it because, what was the app, the purpose of the app? If you the podcast already on other sites? Yeah.
So the way this was pitched at Purple Prize, and the ultimate dream was to have a place-based app so when you're visiting somewhere or people are visiting here, they're like, what's the history of this place? It was more for, well, I want to say it was pitched as a tourist app, but also I think there's tons of value for us, people from that place that don't know its history to learn it as well. But use it as a lot of stuff that is on the app is not actually on the podcast. So there's way more content on the app. There's the walking tours that has like the best content. And then the best is, to me, it's the best because it was written, narrated, like the most amount of effort went into it, I guess. But obviously, all the content is important. So yeah, that's the point of the app, is to use it for traveling purposes. Like I wanted to go, so my idea was to go to Aotearoa, to a marae, and hear its story through the app, because that's not really available to anybody. You can't just walk up and know its history. So, and maybe, if there is somebody that can show you around, it would have that information there too. But I think that type of knowledge is not readily available. And that's the purpose of the app. Okay. Moving on to, one thing I wanted to show you is the RSS feed for us real fast. So this is the RSS feed, and right here. And if I click on it, oh shucks, I'm gonna have to change stop presenting, present Chrome window. This is what a feed looks like. All your content in RSS feeds are usually how news channels like, Google News, they see something out there and they can pull in that thing based on the search. So it's the same concept, except it's using an audio file, MP3 file. So yeah, this is what your RSS feed will look like, and where you get the RSS feed from is usually from the host. Yeah. Okay, and now moving on to promotional stuff. So now you know how to add your file, upload it, have it published so that everybody can listen to it. What am I doing? Stop presenting. Stop. Or stop. Stop. I don't know what's going on. Present now. Okay. All right, here we are. Promotions. I think you guys can see my screen. So you have to tell people about your episode, or else people won't listen. So we do ours on Instagram and Facebook, occasionally email, and YouTube. So I think, Nanya, are you showing them how to do the Canva stuff? But this is how we create posts. Stop sharing. Or am I doing it? I forgot. Sorry. Am I doing it?
You're doing it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we use Canva. I use Canva. Canva.com is free, so that's good. And it's really, really easy. We have designs that we've we've branded our colors. I guess maybe starting from the very beginning, if you don't have anything, you could just go to this thing, and then you have, you can do presentations, flyers, Instagram posts, posters. So we do Instagram posts. And then it gets posted over to Facebook posts. Let's ignore that one. And so if you go to here, it can start blank, or you can pick a template. Let's just pick a template. I don't know why I picked that one. It was just right there. Anyways. And then you can start modifying it to do your own thing by adding stuff. Oh, that's not
can't see.
You can't hear me?
It's just a white screen.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe I'm not sharing my screen. No, I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing a window. Hold on, stop sharing. Present now. Your entire screen. Share. Oh God.
Yeah, we can see now.
Okay, so all the stuff on the left side, like if you want to add a photo, and this is all photos from the web or wherever they get them. You can add squares and shapes, different shapes. You can add text, and they give you, like, you can just bring this over and start modifying it. They have a ton of options. I don't know, you could add music, videos, background. Here, uploads, my bad. Here's some of our images that you just, upload an image and then it's there for you to use. And then you can just click on it or drag it over. Either way, it's really, 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 really easy to use is the point. And there's so many templates and so many options. We have a template that we use depending on the thing, specifically for podcast. So you go out of your designs. And here's one that Nanea did recently. We always have the brown background in the back with black writing, and then we can do different pictures on the left side. Sometimes it's behind it, sometimes it's not, but we always say the date that it's posted, have our logo, have this here, like, because we want people to download download the mobile app and subscribe on the different podcast places, and also on Instagram and Facebook. So you also have to put out, ways of people getting in contact or listening to you. Those are pretty useful things to have on your posts. So that's how we do, I don't know what that is, our posts, and then we download it. And I always download JPEG. I like smaller files. I think so when this is downloaded, we change the name, we put it onto Amazon, and then we put it back onto our, and then we upload the same file onto, sorry, I'm thinking very slowly. I think we have it here. Our website for it to be used. So everybody can see it. How do I do this? This is, here it is. Oops, bad. This is what I want. So if you have a huge file, then it shows up the entire page. If you have a smaller, oh no, I'm lying. Doesn't matter. Even if you do a small file, it's still going to be huge. All right, I lied. It depends on your website's the way it wants to showcase it. Anyways, so we used Canva to design it, we downloaded it, and now we're able to upload it. I assume you guys know how to use Instagram. I don't know, Nanea, do you want to do that? Who doesn't know how to use Instagram? Okay, so you guys know how to download. Oh, Kainoa doesn't know how. Okay, let's see, where's our Instagram? The reason we use Instagram is because, one, it's a picture. Once you put it on Instagram, it can also be duplicated onto Facebook. And there's a bunch of other platforms that can be duplicated on. So we have I think it's called a business account for Instagram. Shoot. My point is that it's an easier way of putting your content on multiple things. But we're not like on Twitter. We're not on a ton of other stuff because I just cannot handle that. So Nanea takes care of this. But always on our posts, we have when it's going to be out, who is in the interview, what it's about, kind of some call to actions, possibly check out their website, and then all of this is like stuff we always put, which is listen to our podcast, download the mobile app, learn more at our website, like all the normal stuff. We just copy paste, and a ton of tags. I don't know if those tags are useful, but maybe they are. It's recommended. So that is how you do Instagram. I forgot what I was going to say. Did I miss anything, Nanya, on why we do Instagram, how to do Instagram?
Well, when the social media has advanced a lot, so basically if you have an Instagram account, you can add on, I don't know if you can see, all the different accounts that you manage. And when you do a post, like you can basically post to all the different accounts at once. And it can send to your Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr is what they do. So it's easier for us because like I just tag, or I'm actually managing Noya's account too. So I just send out like every time there's a new post, like I check off Noya's box, like my Instagram and Native Stories Instagram, and it just like sends it out to the Instagram and the Facebook. It's kind of like a double whammy.
Yeah, it's easier to have one person manage, especially if you don't.
And then even if you there's like Facebook stories and Instagram stories too. So if you connect your Facebook to your Instagram as well, the stories show up, like the Instagram story shows up on your Facebook stories too. And what I normally do is I'll tag whoever is like associated in the story, and it gives them an option to repost on their Instagram stories as well, which I don't know. I think it's just good practice because like nowadays I feel that people are getting more into the 24-hour stories that are on their accounts, and they like that. I feel like they like accounts that are more active and it brings more viewers and followers. But we could have more. We're trying to figure out like what's better. We're almost at 2,000 Instagram followers. So we're probably going to do a contest pretty soon to try and elevate it. But we've been getting about, I don't know, like steady like 2 to 3 follows every day.
Yeah, in general, right, if you want to do this seriously, you need a marketing plan. You have to know what your demographics are. You have to have marketing goals. Our demographic is actually pretty not older, but like over 20s and below 50s. So that's our range. and actually half and half are female. And I get all these statistics actually from Instagram. So it tells you a tons of statistics, and then once you know who's following you, and maybe when you create your podcast, you kind of know who you want to target. That's the easiest. For our native stories, we're just like, we want everybody in the entire world, so it's harder. But I would say try to be surgical, because then now you can go find like-minded people to you can share your post, tag that person, follow them, hope and message them, ask them to follow you, like all those little things. The more work you put into it, the more people are going to listen, but you have to put in the work, or else you know it's just it's a numbers game. The more work you put into it, the more followers, more listeners you're going to get, the more people you can impact with the messages of your podcast. That's
Yeah. So we have more followers on Facebook. We almost have 3,000. So that's why we're trying to get more numbers. But we joined a whole bunch of groups, Facebook groups too, and that's like a lot where our demographic is. So depending on the post, I'll share to different groups that it addresses whatever their, concerns are. So that helps too. Being diligent on like when people comment on your Instagram or Facebook posts, like replying back, like, people love that. And like, I don't know. Yeah.
okay.
It's just being constant.
Yeah. Be reliable. So I'm going to show you Planoly. Nanea hates it. But I like it because so there's so many platforms out there. So this is not the only option, but this is a option. So there's Planoly. What you do is you can add to grid, my computer. Basically, all you're doing is uploading a picture right now. Jesus. Okay, and we're good. And then upload. You can either upload as carousel, meaning like multiple pictures, or you can just do like one post, right? So now it's ready. Here's where you basically copy paste what I do. I copy this entire thing, and then I paste it in here, and then I put in the description, which is in the spreadsheet. So I copy paste as much as possible, try to decrease time. And then I schedule a date or quick schedule. And this gives you all the times a day that are most used by Instagram. So you want people's eyes on it. So you want to use this so that because more people will most likely be looking at their Instagram accounts at 3 p.m. versus 2 p.m. I don't know what my habits are, but yeah. So I just pick one of these. But also because our posts for the podcast are consistent, we always use that same thing. But this one specifically is like not a normal thing that we do. So that's why, anyways, point is that you can use that to upload it here. And so the weird thing is there's plans, right? You can pay for stuff, and this is the free version. So what happens is it messages me saying it's ready. It's 7:00. You should, upload your thing, and it reminds me, and then it pops up the Planoly message in my phone, and it says, here's the steps, which is press next, press next, press next, kind of a thing. And then I post like that. Nanea doesn't do that. I don't know how remind yourself to do it. How do you remind yourself to post stuff? Yeah. Yeah.
I just put it on my calendar. I do a reminder of, so like if our post is supposed to come out on like Sunday 7 a.m., then I'll just put a reminder like Sunday 6:30 a.m. to post it.
Okay.
I don't really like using it because what is it?
Planoly.
Planoly. Because I don't know, I feel like it messes up the aesthetics. Like it makes the captions all weird, and sometimes I think it like lumps all the hashtags together, which I don't know, it doesn't, so the hashtags don't work. I don't know, it's just weird. But yeah, so that's what I do. I just set a reminder on my phone. We have a schedule of our posts throughout the week. So like if we have an event, then that's normally like on a Monday, like, or Tuesday. Wednesdays, we always post our episode that's going to be coming out on Sunday. And then that's about it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But we're always doing stuff. So like, I feel like we always have stuff to post. Like right now, we did a kupuna kaya because we want to collect more place-based kupuna stories, and we want to help the community out, because there's been people who have been coming out and saying that, like, like they want to record their kupuna stories, but they don't have the means to do it. So we wanted to provide that service too, if they want it. And then we're also doing a Mele Hawaii series. So we want it on all the islands. So we're looking for musicians who want to do like 2 or 3 songs in Olelo, Hawaii, and then share the meaning of it and then put it on the app. So we're trying to drive people back to the app. Essentially, that was the vision, is having people kind of, like re-envision and rethink Hawaii in a more Kanakamo'oli based context using the app, if that makes sense. And like hearing our own stories from our own selves.
I do want to pitch that Native Stories, the reason why it was named Native Stories is because it's not just for Hawaii. And I'm trying to get outside of, and we've discussed this a little bit before, outside of here, right? So songs from other people would be, in my opinion, awesome. But we always start small and then try to expand, see what works, doesn't work, and then figure out how to scale it. So if you guys want to share stories from your own places or other people you know, then let us know. I'm gonna plug that real fast. Okay. Oh, so the last thing for this is we use. Can you share? Am I sharing? You're presenting. Oh, I'm presenting still. MailChimp. So we have a MailChimp account. We usually don't do MailChimp, mostly because I'm lazy. Straight up what it is. So I give you this example. Some people aren't on Instagram and Facebook or don't look at it. I think we need to do more email to just reach those demographics. I actually never seen a podcast do email outreach, but that just might be me. So what we try to do is whenever we do emails, it's always a request for you to do something for us. So donations. And so this one, right, we did this how to podcast. Like we wanted people to take the survey and come to the class. But also we put in there all the different stories that we've done. So sometimes people, some people are not like constant on your podcast listening, but they sporadically want to listen to something. I think this is a great way for you to show all the ones that are available, or that are new since the last time that you emailed somebody, because then they can be like, oh dang, look at that one, and go find it in the past episodes that you have. So that's, to me, the best use of MailChimp is just making people in a different platform aware of stories that they're missing. And if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask. That is it. That's the end of the class. So I will stop presenting. Questions? How can we help you? Okay, I'm gonna end class then. Oh, Lene wants to take a pic. Kainoa, you want to join us for a picture? I talked a lot last time, so I'm going to be quiet. No, you have to get it started. I think people need to just like throw out the questions and then, yeah, you want to join us for a picture though? Oh, there you are. No? Oh, there you are.
Well, the problem is that whenever I try to use my camera for this, I use Zoom all the time and have no problems. But for some reason with this, when I try to turn my camera on, it crashes my web browser. So because I tried to join with my camera today because I was thinking, oh, okay, I should at least show my face at least once, but it crashed my browser again, so I had to restart my laptop. So I don't know why.
Are you on
I
Chrome?
don't know why it's an issue. Am I on what? I'm sorry.
Chrome, Google Chrome?
So I tried using Chrome the first time, and it would not open at all.
Oh.
And so I'm using Firefox.
Maybe you have.
And so everything will work but the camera. I don't know why the camera won't work in this.
That's strange. Bummer. All right, I guess we're gonna take a picture in your purple circle with an H.
Yeah, let that purple circle represent.
Okay. Wait, why is my camera?
We're at technical difficulties. Real life technical difficulties.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions? I don't know.
I think that a difficult part for me was the whole host to like hub thing, like where you listen it from. But I'm just gonna watch the video again
What's
when I get to that point.
like the technical, like how it works, or which one to choose?
Because one of the columns said domain. So what does it have to do with? Why is that beneficial? Because most of them said no for having a domain option.
Why is it beneficial to have a domain?
The host.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just show that screen so I can, I think, understand your question better. So we have a domain, right? We use nativestories.org. All of our stuff comes out of there. We do not want to use a Libsyn website. We don't want libsyn.nativestories.org. So that's, to me, the only difference in these, in domain. Do you want to use your own website or do you not want to use your own website?
And then it goes from the and then you upload it to the thing that Nanea was doing with the Amazon ASW?
Yeah.
Because you guys went from different. She showed a different part, and that's where I got like, oh, this is really technical.
Well, so like so I can't tell you which one of these is best. I know if you do like a Google search of compare the best ones, and a lot of tables do not exist. Um, so I know Libsyn is one of the more popular ones. And so here's the plans and pricing. Um, so this is storage, right? It depends. How many times are you going to 50 megabytes? One of our normal 1 hour is 25 megabytes. So you can only upload 2 a month. So yeah, you right. It depends. So there's all these things in here that you could do, but the point is if you use Libsyn and you don't need a website, or you can use their website to show your stuff, but the RSS feed is available, and now you just upload and it goes. You don't need AASW. You can just this will basically be just like the RSS, the where we do posts through our website. That's what it will look like on here. I don't know if it shows it. Yikes! I don't want to get into this. But in general, you would log into Libsyn. You would add your MP3 file because the storage is here. You would type in your description and the pictures and post and publish or schedule, right? And that's it. You're done. Ours is complicated. The reason I showed you the complicated way is because that's the hardest way that it'll be for you. But again, it depends on how you want to do this. Why don't you tell me I can't tell you what you should do because I don't know what you want to do. So maybe if you have an idea of what you want to do, that would help me answer the question.
I want to be able to, like, I want to record like the Okinawan Association and just be able to have that. Maybe not even like post it. I don't know. I want to be able to archive their stories from each club because it's from each village in Okinawa. So I want to trace their stories of immigration here, but I want to make that accessible for them. But I didn't really feel like I didn't know which one to choose. I just didn't know like the process of moving it from the host to the streaming platforms.
Yeah, so see this is Libsyn's logo right here. And see that? That's a symbol for RSS feed. Here's Apple, here's Stitcher, here's I don't know what this one is. Google, Play, I don't know what these ones are. That one looks like a Google. Anyways, the point is this Spotify right here, yeah. Oh, Pandora, iHeartRadio. The point is that once you 100% compatible Libsyn RSS feed, one on Publish connect to your audience, most popular platform services and apps. So you can use Libsyn and literally, like I said, add your description, picture, audio file, right? So how you record is a different question than how you post it and publish it. So once the recording is done, you would add it to Libsyn. It's just a one-stop shop for everything. And it's out. It's out you press the publish and it's out there. It's pretty easy. Does that answer the question?
It does.
Yeah.
Not all of them are going to be a one-stop shop.
Most of them are, not all of them are, but most of them are. The reason why, again, the reason why we're so complicated is because we have the mobile app. That's it. Does that make sense?
That's the question.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. More clear. Questions. Do you have an idea?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for you and Nanea, given like all the experience you folks have in podcasting and everything that you folks have done so far, what would be like some of the biggest suggestions or something that stands out for you folks for anybody doing this new, like getting into it?
I think it depends again on your target audience, what your topics are. To me, getting it to know means and how often you want to publish. Know those things. First before, I guess, attempting to find a host. Yeah, it really depends on how big you want to grow. Like I knew we had to scale. That's why I was thinking we can't go with a small package. We have to go with whatever package, and people around the world are listening to us. So you can't just be, so again, it's just like, you got to think about where you want to be further down the line. And then once you figure that out, you know what plan to get. I would get really good at trying to figure out how to be efficient. I think I went, yeah. I don't know. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Does that answer your question? I'm kind of being a high level right now, and I'm not being specific, but I don't know how to. If you give me an example, maybe I can help with it.
I was thinking like just in general, like given like your experience and what you've been through, like you folks have shared along the way, and Anea has said like just reaching out to people and asking and not worrying about like is it okay for me to contact them, is it okay for me to talk. So that's really helpful for me because I get really shy about that, like thinking, oh, is it okay for me to reach out to this person, am I someone that they would actually talk to, and so that kind of thing. So just having someone say just do it is like really helpful for me to think, okay, well, I can just do this. So like that kind of thing.
I can share.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me, it's being efficient, kind of having communication. I love having Nohea as like my bestie podcast boss partner because we bounce ideas off one another. So that helps. I think, just being comfortable with being uncomfortable and realizing that like nothing is ever going to be perfect. So, I mean, like there's been times where we messed up in like posting something or thinking that a podcast was going to go out at this time and then it just never went out. And so like just little things like that. Trial and error is the biggest way to learn. And that's, I think, how we've learned is just doing trial and error stuff. Trying to think of different templates to kind of administer to different people. Like I kind of have like my set template. I guess I can email you guys different templates that I use when I email people for different things. Like I always like to just introduce myself, who I am, Native Stories mission and vision. I've actually, if I'm reaching out via email, I'm kind of like no holds barred. Before I would kind of contact somebody and be like, hey, you know, what's up? Like, I work for Native Stories and, you know, we would love to have a story with you. If you're interested, let me know. I don't even do that anymore because I don't think it's efficient. I just literally put down I say my introduction, I say the mission and statement. I give them to-dos to do, like, give me your social media accounts, give me your address for the dot on our application, on the map, give me a little bio, give me your CV, give me 3 pictures of yourself. So, and actually I feel like that's worked out really well because a lot of people's time is valuable and, you know, people do want to help. They do want to do a podcast. They love the idea of it, but because I don't like going back and forth. So I kind of noticed that. So that's why I just do like one template email and I just blast it out. I feel like once you have a template, then it's easier to just do. Even a template for your episodes. So I have a template for just basic introduction stuff. I don't know if Nohea sent that out to you guys, but we can send that out.
Yeah, that was in class 1.
Yeah, so just having that is really good.
I also want to add that once that email goes out and they respond, they're like, when? Right? Now you have a clock and you have to do it, you know, and it's just a good thing and a bad thing, right? You're like, oh no, they responded. We have to schedule something. What's my schedule look like? But also you're meeting your goals. You're getting the stories you want to get. So sending that email really just puts you on a path of doing, yeah.
And then like Kaika was saying about being cognizant of the relationships too. Like, I feel like after you do the interview too, you as a host, you gain that little relationship because most of the time it's their first podcast. So they feel more connected with you too. So that you'll always have that. There's been some times where we just had an instance where we wanted to do a 2-person interview with folks, but only one of the people responded back. And then a month later, the other person responded back and said that they wanted to do the interview, but then I had already recorded with the person who responded first. So I had to tell them that, oh, I'm sorry, we decided to go in a different direction, but we keep the communication open. We'd love to still have you and keep this relationship going. I think that's important to have too. That's about it. Oh, and then having a notes folder with for your social media posts with all of the hashtags, outline hashtags and stuff, so you can just plug it in versus every time you have to post stuff, you have to think of, type it out. Templates are just huge. You should just try and figure out templates, deadlines, and have somebody to help hold you accountable and keep things fresh.
We have a Google Doc where we have ideas, and so let me share. I can share this with you guys. Present now, entire screen. It can be whatever, right? We were just like, oh, we have all these ideas. How do we keep this straight? So we call it the COVID-19 series, and we have so many series, but whatever, because we have all these ideas. Kind of the basis of the questions is what you want to write down, and then the subject, who we think is on our side can make the connect, who will do the actual interview, the status, like, is it done or where's that at? Like, we're always constant. Like, when Nanea sends an email, I'm like, okay, that was, I don't remember. I can't remember these things. So, and don't attempt to. And we will hopefully have this, she updates this constantly. I don't know, constantly is the right word, but she updates it, and then we can meet, weekly to say, where are we at on that thing? Do we have any more ideas? And so the ideas can keep going. Oh, look, see, place-based, melee, kupuna series, ideas. Anyways, that's how we track our ideas. And then someone asked about the media release. So I literally Googled media release form, and I was like, oh, that's a good term right there. And and that applies to us. I made a Google form. And so anybody that does our stories can just sign into this Google form and put their name, address, and do you agree? And that's it. That's all we do. So yes, we do that. Sorry, Nadine, do you want to look at it longer? Okay. But that's how we did it. I mean, we did have an attorney look at it, and our board looked at it. We haven't had any issues because maybe it's not obvious, but when you are talking to us in an interview, we're getting your consent, and that's also a way to, and we're not selling anything. So there's also all those other things, right? What are you going to use this to promote, or some service that you're going to get paid for? All those things are usually the questionable stuff. So again, it depends how deep you want to get into it. To answer everyone's questions. Here. So, yeah.
I communicate via email. I like at first when I first started doing podcasts, I was thinking, should I communicate with them like via phone? But I just feel like it's just easier like that. I'll just leave it all on email. So unless it's like somebody I know, then I'll reach out via like text message or something. But
also, it depends.
It's something.
It depends on their age too. Like kupunas don't read email, so it depends.
I have one more question, if it's okay.
Yes, as many as you want.
So this is actually a me thing. I have been asked to be on panels before, and my first question to them is, am I on this panel because I'm Hawaiian? Because I don't like speaking for all Hawaiians. And if they say, oh yeah, we want a Hawaiian perspective, I say no, because I don't speak for everybody. So when it comes to like podcasting and things like that, I'm really comfortable with stuff I'm comfortable with. But if it ever gets into the realm of, Hawaiian and that kind of thing, that's where I get super uncomfortable. So I don't know if you folks ever feel that way, or what do you folks do to like kind of balance that out, or how do you work with that, if that's even an issue for you folks?
I don't think that's an issue for us because we're interviewing them, and it's and we always pose it as their perspective from. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own history and ancestors. So, and their own life that they have lived. We don't have that. So we always ask them to provide from their perspective, and we never ask them to necessarily give an understanding that they're not comfortable with. Yeah. So we're not putting words in their mouth, and we're not taking the perspective of we're the subject matter experts. We're, in my opinion, we're just curious, and we think other people are curious, and If you can answer this question, then do. Does that help? No, but also it depends on how you want to do your podcast, because if you're the only one speaking all the time, then you should be, doing your own research on that topic. So I do a lot of research when I come up with questions and stuff like that. But I also communicate those questions to the people we're going to interview to make sure that they have those answers. And if they don't, then they'll tell us before we do the interview, so we can modify the questions. So
Yeah, so that's like where the shared Google Doc comes in, so that they could vet the questions that we have. And also, like, for native stories, it does come from a single person's perspective or whoever we're interviewing, because then I kind of introduce them. Like, that's why I asked for their bio and their CV or their resume, so that the listeners know that it's coming from them and not necessarily like all Hawaiians or like all like Navajo peoples, or But they say it too. Like, a lot of the people that I interview, they'll be like, they're cognizant of that. Like, they're like, oh, I just want to say that this isn't like a viewpoint of all of my people. This is just like my experience that I'm sharing. So so normally people like say it.
also, we try to do our homework on who we're interviewing, right? We don't want somebody who's just like, I know everything. And because those people exist. So Nanea does her homework a little bit more than I do, because she's more connected than I am. So that's also like because of my ignorance, or my lack of relationships or network. That is a fault of mine, which is also why I employ Nanea. So you gotta, you know what I mean? You have to do your due diligence, on people. Try to at least attempt to.
I think when you get more comfortable too doing interviews, you'll start getting more comfortable on like the things that you want to ask, or the people that you want to invite on.
There's one example that I had to tell somebody yesterday that we're not going to publish his interview. So that it happens, where you do the interview, you're warned not to do the interview, and then something pops up. You're like, oh crap, we cannot publish this thing. So I don't want to call it a failure. It's a lesson learned, yeah. But you can't be afraid of those things. I think you have to know who you are and who you are not. I would make a list of those things, who you are and who you are not. And in there, that list, those are your parameters. And that will guide you in making decisions for who you invite on and who you don't invite on, and the kinds of questions you ask, and the things you do.
Yeah. Radical first, but Hannah's always pulling me back in. She's like, no. But I'm like, we should be radical and say all this crazy shit. And she's like, no.
That's not that, because our mission is not to be. Our mission is more on the education part. I feel like if we're radical, we'll push people away and they won't want to listen to us. And if we want to educate, we need people to listen. So let others be the radicals, and Nanea can do that through her other posts. But that's who we are and who we are not.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's super beneficial to have somebody else working with you that's like motivated as well. Like I'm just motivated working for Native Stories, so I love like contributing more hours and stuff like that. Like so I feel like once you guys start doing it and you really get the community buy-in and yeah, just community buy-in and comments, like it really helps fuel you, you know, like wherever we go or wherever I go, like people are like, oh, we've heard of Native Stories or they say stuff and I'm like, oh my God, cool. Or they learn something, you know? So
Yeah. I'm interested in what type of podcast you're gonna do, Nadine.
I don't have a clear idea just yet. I'm thinking. So it's gonna be political. Um, I hope you guys can hear me. I don't think my internet is really horrible right now.
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay, so it's gonna be political because I need it to be, but it's going to be something interrogating Filipinos in Hawaii at the intersection of like blackness and indigeneity. So yeah, and feminism. So I don't have a clear vision, but it's gonna be something like that. So I don't know what to name it. And it's because it's so huge, a huge concept. Oh, it can be. Thanks, Nania. And so I don't know what to focus on. And if it's going to seem too confusing for people, if I don't have a clear title, name and a vision for it. So I might start off like crafting a mission statement and a vision statement, and maybe I'll see how it goes from there.
I think all those things, um, I think maybe there is one core to that, all those ideas, right? Which is, well, it could be a few things. It could just be human rights, or it can be, yeah, human, or I guess, yeah, it's not specific to a certain type of, but it is specific to justice or something like that. So I would maybe, make it broad at that level. And are you gonna? Yeah, that's my thoughts. Is you can make it at that level. You can just call it justice. That'd be dope. um, are you? I know your background is in political science. Is that right? Is that what's in your video?
I'm a lot. I do a lot. So I how do I sum it? Like, I teach language. I teach like Philippine history and culture. I'm also a student in political science, and I also have a law background. So like and I do activism. Yeah.
Maybe your
So
mission.
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe your mission can be just like, in general, what do you want the world to look like? After, what do you want people to learn and or do after, um, people hear you or talk? Why do you want people to listen? Why do you want people to listen? That's usually the mission. Answer that question, then maybe you have a mission.
Like the shit that you know is not enough. I don't have an answer.
I think you should look at, like Red Nation. Have you heard Red Nation? Red Nation
Yeah.
podcast. I think you should like look at what he does because it's kind of just that one guy who does the interviews, but he likes to do like radical interviews with like a whole bunch of different folks. So I think you could try and like mimic what they do, like you know what I mean, like their mission, because it'll be coming from you, but you don't want it to be you focused. You want it to be focused on issues. So you could kind of follow their template. Like that's what the big, like, you know, why reinvent the wheel? Like just look at what other people have done. That's what we've done too, is like try and look at, we join like podcast groups on Facebook, and well, no, Hale's done like all that kind of stuff. I just do the muscle work, but she's gone on Facebook groups for podcasts to connect with other people who podcast, reached out to them and asked them like what works for them. Yeah, going like if you can go to trainings. Like I just went to a domestic violence training, which was, it's like a coalition with like other folks in California and domestic violence CUI that's on Molokai. And so had the California people come and talk about the work that they do and like, I guess how we can bridge that gap or whatever. But they do podcasting too, so which was, or not really podcasting, but recording stories. So I was like, oh shit. So yeah, like if you find other people who do similar work, you can ask them what works for them and like too, which is cool.
Okay. Yeah, I might look at more podcasts and see how they do theirs, and yeah.
And they're always like on podcasts, they're always like, yeah, like you can connect with us. Like they always say that. Almost every single podcast that I've listened to, they're always like, oh, add us here. And it's not only to follow, like they want to interact with us or you know?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because, like, even us, right? We want people to talk to us because the whole goal of Native Stories is our mission, right? So we feel good if we're hitting our mission. um, and, you know, as you engage with people, the only way for them to learn is to ask questions and get answers. So when you're providing answers, or hopefully providing answers, you're fulfilling that need that that you want to do. Yeah. Yeah. Can you get us some Filipino stories?
I try. There's so many.
We have.
Oh, and then you asked. I forgot you sent me that you replied back to my email, and are you working with Adam Manalo
Yes,
Camp?
him.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know Adam. Yeah, I'd love to help out with that if you guys need help.
We have 2 interviews that he did. One was about Imelda's shoes or something like that. That was, and which I was like, holy shit, this is what's happening in the Philippines? That's crazy. So I was educated beyond my what is it called? My thought process of how could this happen? I was just I was struck dumb by the stuff that the guy was talking about. Anyway, it was amazing. Go listen to it if you haven't, everybody. And we have this other guy who talks about his indigenous side. So Kanoy, if you want to edit that, and it's like 3 years old, I haven't edited it. I have like 4 or 5 that I've never edited because I just time and I'm like, got to do this one today. Anyways, so in my opinion, like the Filipinos that were born in or raised in America are not the same as Filipinos in the Philippines. My sister is half Filipino. She has no kind of world to want to know her history and background. I'm just like, damn it, this stuff is really cool. Like, you should. But there's no drive to do that. But I'd like to maybe make it kind of cool. I don't know. That's just my thought on that. But yes, we have these stories that were all very creation based. We have the pictures, we have the audio edited, we have like 20 of them, and they're all in red because we had to get on hold. So let me share real fast the ones we had. Turn present now on the entire screen. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, here they are. We know
Are these in different parts of the Philippines?
these are from a Filipino guy who, so where did they come from? So we have all the text and they're over here. So this one,
Oh, I know this one. This is my people's one.
yeah.
Cool.
So we have them, yeah, they're from different places. We just haven't published them because we just need somebody to say you're good to go. And I had issues with the ones we got from Micronesia, and so from Adam, and so I was just like, I can't just publish all these things without getting a third party to verify or somebody to verify this is okay, for the ancestors to say it's okay for us to do so, or somebody that's knowledgeable of these stories to be like, oh yeah, that one's just like easy, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can like look at the Ilocano one because I'm Ilocano, but I don't know if it's, the other different groups from the Philippines. I'm not familiar with those. So that would be my only concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I just send you that one. I think that's the only Ilocano one
Yeah.
that we have. All right. That's cool. Sorry, my ask is done. Sorry, taking up time. Kainoa asks, identity formation studies look at generational gaps between cultural base and growing up outside of that. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we can call it quits. I don't want to. This has been really fun for me. So, but in general, I hope you guys stay in touch. Nia and Nia might just reach out to you guys. It's been stressful fun. But you can always say no to us. Whatever we're asking, I'm not sure what we're gonna ask, but I actually might ask everybody to fill out a survey for one of our grants. Yeah, but otherwise, please stay in touch. Please ask questions, and knitting, if you need help, just someone to talk to, me and Anya are always there, even to help you get started. If it's anything culture, you could just do the recording and we can like put it on Native Story, just saying. You can be like, this is the Nadine series. Not sure exactly what we're calling it, but we're gonna do an interview with blah blah. Like, totally fine with that too.
For other voices, like,
Yeah.
we don't just want my host voice. Like, we have Ikaika, but Ikaika's just a Mahiai. He's a farmer, so he's just been busy and he can't really do interviews. So I was just like, F it, I'll do it just because like we need to like get the stories out, and I don't mind because I love talking to people. But yeah, we've been trying to get more people to be hosts. So like you guys can practice as being hosts and stuff and see, what works for you with us, and then, venture off and do your own podcast. Because like that's my thing too. Like I've been thinking for a while about doing my own podcast too, and like this has been great practice.
All right, guys. Thank you. Oh, I know I'm volunteering. Take care and keep in touch. Bye.